Pheladi, everybody needs me in their life. And maybe not even just me, but someone.
Someone like you.
When I say financial advisor, what comes to mind?
Money.
Money? Finances?
City.
Overworked?
The economy.
To me, the words and phrase, I need one, investment, and wealth come to mind. Welcome back to another episode of Nothing Works But the People, a podcast about work and working people in South Africa. I'm your host, Pheladi Sethusa. Now, back to the people this sixth and final episode is about, financial advisors. They're the people who can assist in making sound financial decisions in both life and death. We often hear experts, backed by the statistics to be fair, wax lyrical about how most of us aren't saving enough, how underinsured we are, and how our financial literacy leaves much to be desired. And the counter-arguments, rightly, cite our infamy as one of the most unequal countries in the world, chronic unemployment, the legacy of apartheid, capitalism, and. So let's use the next 30 to 40 minutes to find out what can be done to turn those facts on their head, and what that takes for the people helping to pull the levers where personal finances are concerned. Morning.
How are you?
I'm alright, thanks yourself.
Good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What do you need? Is there more in the car? No.
No, this is me. When I meet Sheila Ann Roby, she gives me a big hug. And I notice throughout the day that's just how she greets people. All co-workers and visitors alike get the same treatment. She works at Lifeguards, an affiliate or franchise of the Liberty Group based in the East Rand.
We are on an agent contract.
Okay.
So it's not an employment contract. It's a very hybrid contract. So we have the perks of employment. So if you meet a certain production level, you do qualify for pension, provident, group risk, disability, medical aid, all of that. Obviously, if you don't meet that level of production, you don't get those benefits. You don't fill in a leave form. We don't contribute to UIF because we can never be unemployed. We can't get fired. You can have your code closed if you don't meet your fit and proper requirements and all of that. In terms of our regulatory body, there are certain requirements that you have to meet to do this for a living.
Hectic. What are those requirements? Are they monthly, annual, quarterly?
So production is one thing, and that is, so obviously you get a tied agent, which is someone that works for Discovery, Liberty, Momentum, Sanlam exclusively. That's a tied agent, and then you get independent financial advisors. And they will operate out of many codes with each FSP, product providers, whereas we can only provide products from the company that we work for.
Her work requires her full attention and dedication, often beyond normal working hours.
If you don't work, you don't eat.
That's the part that I think people can't deal with, that you're on your toes probably constantly.
But there is a way to build a very sustainable book and a sustainable business. And if you do the right thing long enough, you're safe. So in February, I was very sick. I took a week off to play provincial hockey. And when I came back, I was very sick. I was hospitalized for a couple of days. So essentially, I didn't work for 2 weeks.
Did you get an injury or?
No, I got a bug in Durban. I probably drank cholera water off the AstroTurf or something. Okay. And I didn't work for 2 weeks, and it had no impact on my income whatsoever.
Sure.
So remember, you're giving financial advice. You must also be an example.
Yeah.
You must be an example of the things you teach your clients. You must have an emergency savings of 3 to 6 months of your expenses. You must have medium-term savings specifically for education. You must have long-term savings for your retirement. You must insure yourself because I'm the only thing that makes me money. If there is no me, there's no money.
I can tell you what we do as advisors is relentless.
That is Adam Halper, a financial advisor at Discovery, headquartered in the heart of Sandton. He's been in the business for over 20 years.
It's relentless. Yes, we make good money, we do, but there's no other industry in the world that you can sell a product to someone, find a solution, so you've now sold a product, or at least recommended it, and the client's accepted it, and it's the right thing for the client. And a year and a half later, client phones you and says, you know what, I don't want it anymore. And then you've got to pay back all the commission you earned instantly. So that is on your mind. It can break you. It's very hard to think any money I earn is not really mine until that clawback period is passed.
What is that period?
It's different for every product. So the client has to keep it on the books for life insurance at least 2 years, at least. For investments, it's 6 years. For insurance, it's different for short term. It's got to pretty much be on the books for a year.
For him, success in his role is a conscious decision, made daily and weekly.
If you want to be successful in this industry, you have to have 15 confirmed diarized appointments every week. That's a guaranteed success. Guaranteed. If you want to potentially be successful, book 10. If you want to maybe be successful, book 5. If you want to fail, don't book any, because then you're guaranteed to fail. So that's it. And out of those 15, 5 or 6 will cancel or reschedule. Then that means you only sat in front of about 9. Okay? Out of those 9, you're only going to sell to about 4, if you're lucky. And out of those 4, you need to get enough business to cover Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's the industry. That's how it works. It sounds easy, hey? But it's not. It's not easy at all. But it's very rewarding. Very, very rewarding. If I want to take the day off from 2 o'clock, I can. If I do a whole lot of business on Monday and Tuesday and I want to take Wednesday to Friday off, I can. As long as the numbers are there, I can be anywhere in the world.
And he's just as meticulous about the clients he takes on.
I've always sold from a place of hard to get. Always. I always have. If somebody that doesn't know me phones me now, I won't take the call. If I don't know them, I won't take it. If they don't text or leave any sort of contact, I won't call it back either. You understand? If they want to see me, create some red tape. Create some red tape. People want what they can't have. Create the red tape. If they want time with you, they need to book an appointment. What happens when you go to a lawyer's office or a doctor's office? Any professional. What's the first thing they make you do? A form. It's the first thing. All your information. So about 10 years ago, I made a rule. If you want to see me, you fill in that consent form first. Only when I get it back, we'll book an appointment. That's how I qualify them. Because then it's like when you go see a doctor, you don't tell that doctor how you want things. The doctor tells you how things are done. Same thing. Yeah.
And has that helped you, I don't know, kind of only keep to the people you want to work with?
People that are serious. People that are serious. If you don't want to fill in a consent form, I don't want to see you, because it means you're not serious. If you've got nothing to hide and you need help and you need my help, it's an open book here. Also, it's all or nothing with me. Like if a client phones me and says, I only want Discovery Insure, the first thing I'll do is send that consent form. which gives me access to view everything they have: life, invest, insure, the whole spiel. And then I'll say, hey, but you have a discovery broker. Oh no, they don't do short term. Oh, I'm sorry about that. But if you're going to use my services, you've got to do everything with me, not just short term. And you've just got to be very careful that it doesn't come across as arrogant, which is not, it's a deal breaker. So, yeah, I do it very carefully.
He says a big part of his job is managing different types of clients.
There are 4 social styles. 4. We learned this at Liberty Life. But it's taught here as well. It's taught in every sales environment. Okay, so there's a driver, which is usually a Joburg person. I'm a driver, so somebody who just wants to get to the bottom line. Time is everything. Get to the bottom line. What's it going to cost? I can see I need it. I trust you. Where do I sign? Bye-bye. Those are the best clients. Okay, so that's driver. Then you get expressive. I'm probably a mix between these two. Expressives are people that will talk about everything else other than the task at hand. Okay? So that you've got to be careful, because then you lose the whole appointment. Okay, so that's that. Amiable, these are dangerous. So amiable clients they'll say no to nothing. The appointment will go exactly perfect. You've now done business. You feel amazing. Client was so easygoing, so sweet. You signed all the admin, whatever. And then you get a text the next day or an email to say, actually, I've spoken to my dad, and dad says, no, I must rather look at this and that. So amiable people are people without a backbone, basically. So they're too scared to say no, but then they still say no afterwards. So they waste your time. You don't want them. Amiable people are like basically pushovers, and you do get them. Okay. So, and then the last one is analytical. Analytical clients are good, but you work hard for them because they ask you stuff that others don't. A lot of the time you got to get back to them. They do a lot of comparison, a lot of analysis, being analytical. However, once they've made up their mind, they are with you for life.
Working in financial services was a pivot for Sheila Ann after studying and then practicing corporate law for 6 years.
I'll give you the background. I obviously studied law, and I was practicing law exclusively at a firm in Pretoria.
Oh wow, for how long?
In total 6 years.
That's a career.
That's a career. And I got a bursary agreement from that law firm to do my master's in insurance law. And just one day, per chance, my boss's son played cricket with my ex-husband, and he overheard me talking about doing my master's in insurance law, and he was very curious about it. At the time, I was also looking for a different job. I wasn't happy in the firm that I was in, and I had applied a lot. I must have sent out about 300 CVs. I mean, I go back in my Gmail and I can see how many CVs I went. I went for several interviews, nothing actually stuck.
And were you looking for any other work at that time?
I was mostly focused on still staying in the legal profession, but I did go for a couple of interviews at underwriting managers because my specialization was insurance law, and my career was built on professional indemnity law. So that's in representing doctors, lawyers, engineers when they have civil claims against them, and that's an insurance-based type of.
What do they call it in America? Malpractice.
Yes, medical malpractice. Yes, so medical malpractice is a branch of professional indemnity law. So we would represent the insurance companies that pay out the claims for doctors, lawyers, and engineers. And he overheard me speaking about it, and then he offered me to come for an interview. And at the time, I was confused because I sort of Googled and checked on LinkedIn, and okay, it's an insurance brokerage. So, I said, well, what do you want me to come and do? Compliance? And he said, no, I want you to be a financial advisor. I said, sell policies. I said, I can't do that. I'm too honest. And he said, no, the people will love it. And I've just finished my 8th year, into my 9th year now, and the people love it.
Wow.
The people love it. The transition was, it was quite intense for me, just in that the industries are so different in terms of the approach. You know, in the legal fraternity, it's very micromanaged. You clock in at a certain time, you clock out at a certain time. And the timesheets, the billing was killing me. That is just a tedious exercise, and also it wasn't as rewarding as how much the rewarding part of this career. I remember my first week of being here. You know, I would send a text on my phone, and if my boss walked in, I'd be like, I'm so sorry, I put my phone away. And he's like, that's how you make money. Best you be on your phone 24/7. You know, so that it was a big mental shift for me. In terms of, you know, there's a lot of law in financial planning. Remember, estate planning is very much Interstate Succession Act and the Wills Act and all of that. Your marital regimes, that's always involved in terms of your financial planning. Income Tax Act, all of that that's all law. A huge part of financial planning is law. So that transition wasn't very difficult. I think for me, the biggest part was obviously I studied law because I couldn't do maths. And, you know, now I count numbers for a living. So that was a huge transition, but luckily we have great actuarial machinery at our disposal to do those calculations. And that's why it was very important for me to continue my education and do the CFP, because all the actuarial calculations you do manually with a financial calculator as part of that curriculum. You know, that's NQF level 9. And that was, you know, I've done my undergrad in law, I've done a master's in law. My postgraduate diploma in financial planning is the most difficult academically I've ever, you know, even comparing it to my PhD now. PhD is chilled. It's chilled. Once you crack the code of the research onion and you know what you're trying to say, then it's fine. But the postgraduate diploma in financial planning is very challenging.
How long was it?
It's only a year.
Okay.
So you do that for a year, you write 4 sets of exams at the end of that year, then you apply to the Financial Planning Institute to do your board exams, which are also 4 exams. They've recently changed the structure of how you obtain your CFP designation, but that's how. So now there's a lot more practical sort of coursework besides just the exams. But I wrote the 4 board exams and luckily passed them first time.
But she's carried over her skills as an attorney, and it's helped root her work ethically.
Ethical business practices has always been part of my makeup. Growing up, I actually wanted to be Ruda Landman. That was, wow. I promise you, she was my hero growing up. And then, you know, the older I got, the more I realized I actually had to study journalism. And then I was like, no, that's not really for me. But the sense of justice and purpose spoke to me. And that's why I pursued law, because that sense of justice and fairness really spoke to my personality traits. Being part of this franchise specifically, we're very different and unique to other franchises and other, even independent financial houses. We have more women than men employed. We have more people of color here than anywhere else. My franchise principle is very strong on culture in terms of developing a collaborative, ethical, do it in the best interest of your client's culture, which isn't as prominent in other branches essentially because, and that's part of my PhD research as well, and that's why men have succeeded for so long, and it's because they have that competitive edge, that those agentic traits that make them, a winner's resolve. But you can't have that and compromise on the underlying empathetic, ethical business practice that is required for this industry.
Adam was also recruited into the industry, but under very different circumstances.
I worked in the diamond business for 4 years.
As a salesperson?
No, I was learning. It was like studying. I learned how to buy rough diamonds, basically. So I studied in Antwerp. I had family there, so I was there, and then I came back here, started a business for the company in Antwerp, and then I realized after 2 years here that I don't want it. It's too dodge, it's too scaly. It's like there's just such underhanded ways. You can't be an honest person in the diamond industry. They've got the book that stays under the table and the book that's on top of the table. And the one that's on top is the legit one. The one that's under is the hot one. So I didn't like it. It made me so unhappy. So I then got a call from Liberty.
This was in your early 20s?
This was I'm 44. So I was 22 probably at the time. Yeah. And Liberty called. Hello. Hi, we saw your name I must have played around on a job finder thing. Are you interested in an interview at Liberty Life? Thinking, huh? I've got a matric. Why would Liberty Life want me? And I went. It was down the road here. I remember going the day before on the Sunday to see if it was legit.
You didn't believe them?
I didn't believe them. I thought, what do they want from me, honestly? Anyway, I sat with them there. They did a whole lot of psychometric assessments on me. I did them. And then I caught onto the fact that it's commission. And I thought, you know what? I was quite desperate at the time, and I thought, I'm going to give this a go and see what happens. And it went well from day one. Yeah, and then long story short, Liberty was amazing. I mean, the career, it's an amazing industry if you can harness it properly. It's very hard. I wouldn't start over. I would not start over. No ways. To build reputation and a client base, and oh my goodness, no, it's long term. It was the best advice they gave me, best career advice they ever gave me at Liberty was, don't look at it for now. Don't look at it for this year even. If you just do the same thing over and over and over, your income will just go like this. Even if you don't do more. Because in our industry, the longer you've been in it, the more you earn. It's not rocket science, because it just keeps building. You're building your base. So, yeah, and then I joined Discovery. Well, I was fighting a losing battle against Discovery as a Liberty agent. I was.
For your clients?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were coming to me saying, hey, Adam, we like you, but Discovery called us. They say they can give us half our premiums back every 5 years just for having medical aid with them and Vitality. Can you give me that with Liberty? No. Okay, I'm leaving. I like you, Adam, but I have to go. Like, that was it. And either you are fighting a winning battle or a losing one. And eventually, I had to make a decision. I said, you know what, I don't actually work for Liberty, I work for my clients. I'm nothing without my clients, if you think about it. And what's best for them? So I jumped ship in 2011. It was horrendous because I trailblazed out of there. There was no one, most advisors were too scared to go to the enemy.
While the move changed the upward trajectory of his career, it also came with a massive loss.
But there have been hard times as well. Yeah, sure, I'll never forget. I got sued by Liberty Life because of lapses. So because there was no restraint of trade, I could legally move all my clients to Discovery. Policies that I sold them at Liberty, and I could tell them, we move you for these reasons, because it's a matter of time before you do it.
Drop those.
And they drop those, and they're still within those 2 years, some of them. So now who do they recover the money from? No one, because I'm not there. Right. What does that do? Creates a debt. And then they sue you for it. So there is a very ugly side to the industry as well.
And were they successful?
They were, yeah. We fought it, we defended it for a long time, but eventually it got to a point where the debt was just climbing because it was interests, and I had to take a loan, and I paid it.
How big was the debt?
It was big. It was about R1 million, yeah.
Oftentimes we'll walk a path with a client without any product being placed for a very, very long time, especially clients that are, suffering the credit crunch. So no, access to financial planning is not a costly exercise, and you don't need money to make money. I have clients varying. Some are earning 5,000 rand a month, and some earning in excess of like 200,000 rand a month, and both get the same level of service from me, the same quality of advice, because there are certain things that need to be put in place. Remember, wealth creation is 20% the numbers and 80% what you do with it. And some of my best, most geared up clients are really in the 20,000 rand a month mark. Those are your teachers, your administrators, not wealthy, shoot the lights out people, but they don't implement debt. They listen. They're so concerned about earning so little that they save so much and they can retire comfortably. Growing up for me, I didn't know who my parents' financial planner was. I didn't know anything about my family's money situations and struggles. My dad was a big manager on one of the mines growing up, and then he cashed out his pension to go out on his own, and he failed. The first time the sheriff came and took all our things, I was in grade 10. The second time the sheriff came and took all our things, I was in second year varsity. So when I graduated from Tux, I got an empty envelope because we still owed the university money. Had I known then what I know now, perhaps my parents could have avoided those sort of situations. That essentially financial trauma. That's financial trauma, and you're putting a whole family and their, extended family through that because of ill-advised decisions. Did my parents have a financial planner? I don't know. I've never really asked.
To this day,
I've never really asked. But they didn't have the financial acumen because they came from a household that didn't have financial acumen.
Sheila Ann has been a certified financial planner for almost a decade. As a result, some of her time is spent offering free financial advice to people and communities in need.
So I'm a member of the FBI. In terms of the FBI, then you'll do a lot of pro bono work and...
Oh, really?
Yes. So we do a lot of financial planning for consumers that wouldn't necessarily have access to financial planning.
And how do you pair up with them? Is it people you seek out or people who come and say, I can't afford your fees, or how does that work?
So the Financial Planning Institute will they do rollouts, they do like roadshows and things like that, and meet with companies and communities and whatever. And if there's a need and people are willing and able, then they will allocate to there's 5,000 CFPs. Of the 5,000 CFPs, there are only 1,000 women client-facing certified financial planners.
In the whole country?
In the whole country. Of what are we, 68 million? Mm-hmm. That's why my PhD is on increasing the presence of female planners in South Africa.
And let me tell you something. Sheila practices what she preaches. She shows me the financial plan she set up for herself and how she goes about sharing that information with her loved ones.
So there's a spreadsheet with all the attachments of my life policy, my school, the education policy, estate liquidity policy, income protection, retirement annuity, what's at work. Then I will send through my car schedule, my short-term insurance schedule, my copy of my will, my home loan statement, my medical aid tax certificate, copy of ID, so that they have everything should anything go awry.
That's amazing.
So to position, and the thing is, usually when I meet clients, they're nowhere near having any of this in place, or like, so the first portion...
You have like two policies there, but you're not sure like
what they do or why.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and every client is different. Every person, so I must meet people exactly where they're at. So a big portion of clients are first so indebted because it's really easy to get credit in this country. And if you don't understand the ins and outs of it, you can be swallowed by it. So a lot of it is first getting people out of that. So a lot of it is coaching. Let me show you. I've got a client who's actually a very close friend of mine.
So is it kind of like a scaffolded approach that you have to then take? You can't just immediately do everything.
You can. It depends on the client's debt strategy. Okay. All right. Budget. Income, expenses, surplus, savings. Okay. Debt, what you owe to whom, monthly payments going forward. That's what you pay going forward. From July to February, you pay $2,000 a month. From Feb to June, that's what you pay. Debt-free in 12 months. After 12 months, you can save $10,000, which will make you a millionaire in 5 years. And then I've done it as a diagram because she's an art director, so visually it's more tangible for her if she sees it on this, so she can see and then also how she can see how it goes down. So first was to pay off levies and then COJ. So this I sent July last year. So we're not even a year. She's completely debt-free. Already.
Did she pay extra?
She paid extra. Her bonuses she pumped into these. She also made a settlement arrangement with the attorneys that she was handed over to for the levies. That's completely clear. COJ is up to date, completely debt-free.
Sure. I feel like
just because she had
a life.
Pheladi, everybody needs me in their life. And maybe not even just me, but someone.
Someone like you.
The human psyche is an important thing, not just for us as advisors, but for the clients that you serve as well. Like I said, the clients that come here and they've started off with so much debt. Only 20% of that problem is a monetary problem. 80% of that problem is a behavioral and psychological problem. So as we have to be coaches and psychologists as well to try and get people to shift and change their habits.
You see, you've got to be able, to do what we do, you've got to be able to put all your stuff one side. All your stuff that you carry, your personal stuff. It's very hard. Because to be a financial advisor, you've got to be like a coach. You've got to be in a good headspace. You've got to be very positive. It's very hard to be positive. It's a lot easier to be negative. Okay. You've got to be very positive, and the people that you are talking to have so much going on in their lives, as South Africans especially, at the moment, especially, that you're talking to someone who can lash out at you at any second, because everyone is like a ball of nerves these days.
Managing relationships as an agent means being switched on and friendly but firm.
I don't want to get invited to birthdays and weddings and any of that. And I tell my client, I'm not your friend, I'm your financial advisor. That's why I can comfortably ask you about all your health, all your money, all your everything, and it stays here. You won't bump into me at a braai, you won't bump into me anywhere else. So, and you know, for me, going out, this industry makes you antisocial.
Really?
Yeah. Because all you're doing all day is socializing.
Talking, yeah.
All you're doing all day is talking.
There's an assumption that financial advisors are purely salespeople, which Sheila Ann says is a misunderstanding from both sides of the fence.
And I've seen it, I know it. If you push product, because obviously that's how you earn money. But if you give advice and you do the right thing, the product solutions sell themselves. You don't necessarily have to. But when an advisor is in their first couple of years, they have to sell so that they can eat. This branch, and I don't think very many others, and I don't think any of the other FSPs, we utilize something called a pool account. So I don't take all my commission in my pocket. I let it accumulate in a pool account. How's it? I let it accumulate in a pool account, which earns a guaranteed interest. And I draw a percentage of it to cover my bills and. So for me to grow this pool account, creates a huge buffer. Because remember, with the products that you do implement, sometimes they will lapse. The client might not, life changes, they can't afford it, or you've actually oversold. You haven't gone in and checked the client's budget and done proper financial planning. If you're just selling for the sake of selling, that business isn't going to stay off the books. Most, especially insurance products, the commissions are paid up front. And if it's not retained on the books, you've got to pay that commission back.
But the products do matter. They are pivotal to growth.
You can earn a lot of money in this industry.
So it obviously fluctuates, I'm aware of that.
Yeah. No, but you build a base of income. So
That's your kind of steady.
yeah. So before you get out of bed, you have X amount coming in every month. Yeah. And that's what you're building. You understand? So as every premium is paid on medical aid, you get $100 or whatever. Okay. As every premium is paid on short term, you get between 12 to 20% of that premium. As every premium is paid on life, you'll get an upfront commission for the next 2 years. Every month, something renews, and that builds a steady flow of income. And that's the beauty of being in this industry, is that you're building wealth. You're not, with property, you've got to sell every month. Otherwise you don't earn. You've got to sell all the time. Whereas in our industry, you can take some time off if you want to. You can. Because you know you've got, if your expenses are being covered by your flows, it's fine. So, I mean, some of the most successful financial advisors in South Africa are probably earning between 800 to 1.5 million a month.
No.
Yeah. Easy.
A month?
A month, yeah. And I'm not earning $1 million yet. but no, but the aim is to get to as much as you can, yeah. And they live very good lives, advisors who are successful. Bearing in mind that with that income comes big responsibility. That's what you've got to be mindful of all the time. Because without, you can lose that base easily. Clients, you don't own clients.
Would you say you're close to the $1 million mark?
Definitely past halfway.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, do you remember what your worst month has been financially?
12,000 Rand.
Okay, and best?
150,000 Rand.
No, you lie. Sure. Okay.
I'm lying, 200,000. And then I invested 100,000. This was last year, July. So all the money that comes in, rental, legal, maintenance, okay, car installment, insurance, petrol, okay, bond repayment, groceries.
And so the list goes on. Sheila Ann is most proud of keeping her total cost of living of 73,000 Rand consistent over the last 3 years. Sheila Ann is also a full-time PhD student, a mom, a freelance legal and business consultant, and get this, an athlete preparing
For the Hockey World Cup.
I'm playing World Cup hockey in July in the Netherlands with my sister.
Are you joking?
No.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It's very, very, very cool. And
all of this while also managing her sizable client book.
I have 600 active clients.
Okay.
Yay me, I've reached the 600 mark. You can clap.
Adam's book is a little bit bigger.
Do you know exactly how big your book is?
Yeah. Every day.
Every day.
Discovery has so Discovery's got the most incredible data mining systems.
Okay.
Because of all the zillions of data that Discovery's just got so much data on everything. And data is like
Gold.
manna for a company, like for any insurer. So they read that data all the time, and what they've done, they've taken that same strength and applied it to our client book. And we can get a real-time view of our client book on demand. So we know exactly how many policies are on the books. If I knew that I had 222 short-term policies yesterday, and today it's on 221, where's that one? Or something happened, something got cancelled, something, right? So it gives you a very close view of your book. So you've got X amount of healthcare clients, X amount of life, X amount of invest, insure, gap, it all, and bank. And now it all comes together. As individuals, it's about 700 odd individuals that I've seen over the years.
He says farming within his client book is more lucrative than hunting for new clients at this stage of his career.
There's enough within those 700 or whatever individuals, there's enough there. I must look inwards. There's enough there. And the best part at Discovery, there's a lot of tech, a lot of AI that analyzes your book and tells you these clients are likely to buy, these clients are not. Very smart. We are given the most incredible tools, incredible.
Managing it all and managing it efficiently for Sheila Ann lies in her immediate follow-through. Within an hour of a client's annual review meeting, which I couldn't record but got to sit in on, Sheila Ann drafted a will and sent out the meeting minutes.
Are you really working on her will?
I'm done.
Sure. So you don't let your admin pile up?
Oh, no, I definitely do. I have so the ladies in the front, they do a lot of admin for us, and then I have a PA as well.
Okay.
But she works remotely. I only see her twice a year.
No ways. So do you just send everything you need help with, or?
I'll show you a diagram now
Sure.
on how it works.
Because it must get quite complicated.
No?
No.
No. It's not hard. Is it hard, Warren?
No, keep it. As long as the instructions are clear, it works well.
Adam has 2 PAs to assist and is currently looking for a 3rd pair of hands to help. And for him, AI is also a big help.
So I use AI a lot in my business, and this was unusual because it was a phone call, but usually it's Teams or Zoom. I am on a premium Otter package. Have you heard of Otter?
Yeah, the transcription.
Right. It's genius. It saved me so many times. I can refer back to meetings at any time. There's no he said, she said, you said. There's none of that. So the client gets a summary of that after every call. And it shows at the end, action items. This is what Adam said he would do. This is what client said she would do. And that's that. So they do get that like minutes after every call. For in-persons, I try to record and then transcribe, but that's a headache. So in-persons are a bit more challenging from that perspective, but there are different processes with different clients.
But he's aware of the limits.
AI is something that will never take away the job of an FA. Never. Because AI doesn't always work. And when it doesn't work, who does the human want to talk to? Another human. When it comes to money. So, one thing AI can't do genuinely is empathize, because it's artificial. It doesn't give a damn of it. It's not responsible for its output. It's fundamentally wrong sometimes. And it's a tool, but it won't take away the job of a financial advisor, because it'll be the advisors that use AI that will win. Those guys will win. But the advisors that don't use AI won't.
As the day winds down, Sheila shares that the financial gain is the obvious draw card in this line of work, but one gets so much more than that.
Young people looking to get into this industry need to come in with a clear idea that the only way to be a success is to work really hard. And I think that goes for every industry, but this one in particular. The difference between this industry and every other industry is that the exponential growth that you're looking at emotionally, spiritually, and financially is off the charts. Really, really off the charts. If I had to draw, in terms of my growth as a person, my growth as, financially, what my family has achieved by me being part of this industry. And that personal growth comes from you watching and advising other people better their lives, make better decisions. So everything has this like up vibe, elevation to it. But it's a lot of damn hard work. I mean, in the first 2 years, you should be clocking, a good 12 to 14-hour days. In your 9th and 10th year, you don't have to work that hard. In your 15th and 20th year, you can see one client a day and you'll still be eating very nice Woolies bread.
If you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening not only to this episode, but to this first season. To quote the great Emma Thompson as Catherine Newberry in the film Late Night, I hope I have earned the privilege of your time. There are more stories to tell in upcoming seasons. Keep following us on Instagram for updates and rate and review us if you haven't already. As always, full credits can be found on our Podbean page and in the show notes. In the words of a disgraced former president, we will meet again somewhere.